has left us in despair. And these events show us why the Nakba never ended. Every single day in Palestine, the Nakba continues in plain sight. But every few years, Israel demonstrates before the world, openly and without shame, that they're continuing the original mission that they failed to complete in 1948. The total destruction of Palestine and the eviction of every single Palestinian from the land. But just as they failed in 1948 and have failed many times since then, so too will they fail again now. We all bear a responsibility towards Palestine, and that means that we have to educate ourselves on this issue. Firstly, we must be careful not to adopt the language of Israel apologists. The situation in Palestine is not a conflict, it's not a cycle of violence, and there is no such thing as both sides. It's an all-out, ongoing onslaught against Palestinians by an oppressive, occupying colonial power. And we must also not buy in to their narratives about so-called Palestinian terrorism and scaremongering about their favourite bogeyman, Hamas. And we should not in any way legitimise Israeli aggression. Palestinians have the right to resist by any means necessary, and there can be absolutely no question about that. Those who stand against Palestinian resistance stand with the state of Israel. But it's not just Zionist propaganda that's the problem. There's a problem with much of the language of our own movement. It's not enough to simply offer solidarity and to oppose occupation and apartheid. It's not enough to simply talk about international law and the Geneva Convention. We know all of those things already. So what should we say? And what must we do? We must support the Palestinian right to resist, and we must support the decolonization of Palestine from the river to the sea. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. We don't simply want a state in which Palestinians have equal rights with their oppressors. We want to liberate Palestine. So as a bare minimum, we must give our support to the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement, and we should also support the Palestinian right of return. But more than that, we should also support the heroic efforts of those who are taking direct action, like the comrades in Palestine Action, who are working to shut down Elbit Systems, an Israeli arms manufacturer in the UK. And as well as disarming Israel, we should support the armament of Palestine so that Palestinians have the tools they need to fight back against this illegitimate colonial occupier, as is their right. Palestinians are capable of liberating themselves, and they will liberate themselves. And as they do that, we will stand alongside them. Victory is possible. Just days ago, Zionist colonialists streamed out of the occupied city of Lida, where around 70,000 Palestinians had been taken on a death march during the Nakba in 1948. Zionists left that area, and they will continue leaving as long as the Palestinian resistance lives. Long live the people of Palestine, and may God bless all of those who have been martyred over recent weeks. Victory to the Intifada. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. Free, free Palestine! 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 I'm really sorry. I know some people at the back are struggling to hear our speakers, so I'm going to ask them all to try and speak up, but there are lots of you here, which is a really good thing. Jane said, keep sharing on social media. The Palestinians will see this and they will know that we are standing with them, and that is what they need. They need our voices. I'm very pleased to invite our next speaker. She is the Secretary of the National Education Union. I am a national officer which has a long history of standing in solidarity with the people of Palestine. We take 2 delegations of educators every year to see the situation and to come back and speak out about what they see so that we can fight for justice for the people of Palestine. Sheena, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me today. As Louise says, we have got a long and deep relationship with our Palestinian brothers. Deeper relationship with our brothers and sisters in Palestine, and we visit them regularly and we support the development of education there. I'm not going to go into any details. I really would just want to say that we bring all of our fraternal greetings to our brothers and sisters in Palestine, and that we have had incredible support and joy in working with those people, and we have a real concern and care for the children and families that are suffering, not just now but over the extended period of time. We're particularly interested in children, obviously, because we're an education union. We found it so difficult to help to get resources into Palestinian schools because they're effectively resisted from outside. Our young people in Palestine struggle to get to school because they have to go through multiple checkpoints. They're arrested, they're disappeared from the system. Something like 13% of young people in Palestine don't appear on any registers anywhere, and we're not sure how or if they're getting any education at all. But the Palestinian Union of Teachers is incredibly active in helping to get books and to get schools repaired when they are attacked and when they are destroyed, which happens frequently. They keep an eye to making children education as accessible for children as they possibly can, and they need our support. If you're in a trade union, please raise the issues of Palestine, not just the ones in the news all the time, but also the living conditions of our young people, the terrible, terrible circumstances in which they fight for an education and which their parents and communities fight for an education which is inclusive of their own history. It's a crime of huge proportions that we're seeing unfolding in front of us over these many years, but it's also a fight for ideas, and it's absolutely essential that we support those young people and our brothers and sisters in the trade union movement over there so that we can get this message out. I've visited Palestine and I'll just echo what other people have said. Don't cry for us. Go out, tell our story, raise our profile, let the world know what is happening. Peace and justice for our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Thank you so much.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Thank you so much. Our next speaker is a well-known member of Nottingham. He is a trade unionist. He's a member of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign. He is also a member of Jewish Voice for Labour. Mike Scott, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks very much for the rousing welcome, and I'm really glad to see there's so many people here today. I'm really glad to see there's so many people here today. I saw on the Post website yesterday the police were expecting 50 people, so we've got a bit above that, I think. I've been an activist in Nottingham for over 35 years in a whole number of causes, and the cause of the Palestinians is one that's always been very important to me. But I'm here not because I'm an activist and not because this is just one of the causes that's important to me. I'm here because I'm Jewish, and I want to make it absolutely clear. I want to make it absolutely clear that all Jewish people do not support the Israeli government. And that there are an increasing number of Jewish people, both in the UK and abroad, who are now coming round to the view that what the Israelis are doing is literally apartheid. When I was young, one of the first political campaigns I ever got involved in while I was still at school was the anti-apartheid movement, because I've always felt that justice was really important. It was something that we had to fight for everywhere around the world. So the reason I mention that is because I want to say very clearly to anybody here who might disagree that I know what apartheid looks like, and what's happening in Palestine and Israel is apartheid. There's no other word for it. So the last thing I want to say is, just go away from here. You'll go away with a whole number of memories and a whole number of things that you want to think about. But if anybody says to you, all Jewish people support the Israelis, it's a lie. It's a lie. Okay, thank you very much. You're doing a great job. Let's keep it up until Palestinian people are free.
Brilliant contribution. Please remember that when you go back and you speak about today, Mike has told you not all Jewish people support what the Israeli state is doing. It's important we share that message. Our next speaker is Bilal Hussein. He's going to talk to us about the situation, but also I think he's going to talk about what we can do. It's great that so many people are here, but we need to take action as well. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's amazing to see so many of you out here. These are the kinds of showings that we need. Now, loads of speakers have been talking about all of the atrocities that have been going on, but it's all quite simple. What's been happening is one side has absolute power and one side has none. The side with absolute power want what the one side with no power have. It's quite simple. It's all about power. And you see, look, that's where our power lies, right? Power comes in two forms. It comes in money power, and it comes in people power. Power is simply the ability to act. And whenever we make the decision to get involved, we use our ability to act. And I look across on all of these people here today, and I see an incredible showing of people power. And it is wonderful, because people power is one of the most transformative forces in the world. And you see, look, it is always the case that whenever there are people oppressed, it is the people power of ordinary people like you that fight back and that cause the resistance. I also just want to say, neutrality is not an option anymore. Inaction is siding with the oppressor. Action is resistance, and that resistance is what we need. In 2014, in the 51-day war, I happened to be on a placement with the Living Wage Foundation in London. 100,000 people on a Saturday marched. They marched from the House of Parliament to the Israeli embassy. They went there, they listened to speeches, they shouted at a building, and then all of that energy and all of that power dissipated because people went home. Now, it is important that we do not let that happen, because that happened all the way in 2014. You fast forward 7 days, and now we're in a position where people and kids are being shot at and killed on Eid. That kind of stuff cannot happen again, and it is people like you make the decision to get involved, that kind of stuff stops. And I'll say it again, neutrality is not an option. Inaction is siding with the oppressor, action is resistance. And understand this, just like the brother Mike was saying, this is not Jew versus Muslim versus Christian. This is about right and wrong, this is about oppressor and oppressed. And in that struggle there are things we can do. So it is wonderful, it is absolutely wonderful that all of you have come out here today to support the Palestinian cause. But understand that true support is making the decision not just to come today, but making the decision to get involved tomorrow, making the decision to get involved the next day. Go home and think about what you can do. Join Amnesty International, join the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign, join the Labour Party. The Labour Party is not perfect. I'm a member myself, but think about what we can do. Because if we bring people together and we join movements like the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign, then we can do something and we can unite and we can use our people power for good. Our council, what can our council do? Think about those. You have 3 local MPs, Alex Norris, Lillian Greenwood, Nadia Whittam. It is your point, it is absolutely your choice. You need to give them help. That's the point. You need to give them help. You need to inundate their offices. You need to inundate your leaders' offices. You need to demand more from them. You need to demand that they do something, that they get up and they do something on those issues, because those are the people that will be able to do something, and you lot are something to, you lot can compel them. It is important to get your leaders down here to tell them how you want them to act, and when you do, that's when your power will be actualized. So please do hold these people accountable. Hold Keir Starmer accountable. Hold Alex Norris accountable. Hold Lillian Greenwood accountable. Do it politely, but hold them accountable, because that's where your power is. And please do remember that, look, we have been doing this for way too long. I want desperately to be part of a movement that brings justice for people in Palestine and brings justice for people that are oppressed everywhere. But that starts when you make the decision to get involved, not just today, but tomorrow and the day after. So please do remember, join the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign.
We want justice! 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 Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Speaker from the university. He is the president of the Palestine Society. Hamza, I'm really pleased to welcome you. Thank you for coming.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everybody. It is a refreshing sight to see so many of you here today, despite our work-life obligations, for many of us revision, the weather. We made the choice to be here today to stand in resilience with our brothers and sisters in Palestine. This is not a political issue. Those who call it a political issue seek to justify the occupation. For it to be a political issue, it suggests that two sides are gridlocked in disagreement by choice. The Palestinians had no choice in this. Palestine did not choose the borders it lives within. Palestinians did not choose to live within 25-foot-high walls. They did not choose to be deprived of food, of water, of their basic necessities, to be deprived of their dignity and human rights. So my question to you today is, what self-defense? Just last night, in one airstrike, Israel killed 8 children. 8 children in a refugee camp. Why should we brush over that? Just another statistics. Just another 8 children. This is unacceptable, and this is a human rights violation. When I spoke to my relatives in Gaza just 2 days ago to give them my Eid celebrations, we could hear explosions happening in the background. To them, it seemed as though the explosions were thousands of miles away. They've become so normalized to this. The explosions were only 300 to 500 meters away. But they've lived through the horrors of the 2008 and 2014 war. In fact, I wouldn't even call them wars, they were genocides. Just 500 children killed in 2014 and counting. This is completely unacceptable. One thing I will say, this is not just about Gaza. What we have, just yesterday we had tens of martyrs in the West Bank, in Jerusalem, in Lod, in Haifa. What you have is systematic oppression, not just by the soldiers, but by settlers who have been bred with hate. They want to kill children. Exactly. Free, free Palestine! 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 Free, free. What self-defense? What self-defense? When you have a country that's given the most up-to-date and precise military equipment with pinpoint accuracy, yet they still decide to bombard indiscriminately bomb children. Free, free! Free, free! Palestine! 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 Like the speaker said earlier, there's no two sides to this. It's clear that this is a one-sided, this is one-sided aggression. We've come here today to say no more, no more. No more. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Takbir! Allah Akbar! Takbir! Allah Akbar! Takbir! Allah Akbar! Thank you all, my brothers and sisters here.